On your fast track to the top of the hour, voters in the small community of Oaks, North Dakota took to the polls yesterday to vote on a historic school referendum. They were deciding on a nearly $15 million plan paid for with a property tax increase to update and upgrade the 100-year-old high school. But the plan was rejected. Supporters say they knew this was a big ask of the community, but they say they were hoping it was one that the community was willing to rally behind.
In rural districts like Oaks, student population isn't necessarily increasing, but we still need to maintain quality, safe, and attractive facilities.
The final tally was 558 no votes to 410 yes votes. Governor Walz has officially signed a bipartisan bill into law designed to get school resource officers back into schools physically across the state. The bill funds training, establishes clear duties for the SROs, and requires the Peace Officer Standards and Training Group to develop a model policy. Now, the bill clarifies a law passed last year which limited when SROs could restrain students in schools. This led to departments across the state, including in Morehead, to pull the officers from school buildings, worried about legal issues. But the latest version of this bill clarified that officers are not school employees. Therefore, they are not subject to staff restrictions. However, the ban on chokeholds does remain. The longtime live-in partner of the suspect accused of killing 3 first responders in Burnsville last month has now been charged with making illegal purchases. The gunman's girlfriend, Ashley Deardahl, is accused of purchasing weapons in the shooting. Shannon Gooden was legally prohibited from owning guns himself, but police say Deardahl bought him 5 guns, including 2 AR-15s. Police say Gooden killed Burnsville police officers Matthew Rouge and Paul Elmstrand, as well as paramedic Adam Finseth during a standoff last month.
Deardahl and Gooden knew exactly what they were doing, that he could not purchase firearms because he was a convicted felon. So instead, he would pick out specific weapons and she would buy them in violation of federal law, placing powerful weapons in the hands of a violent convicted felon.
Deardahl was charged with 1 count of conspiracy and 5 counts of making false statements during the purchase of a firearm. A woman was arrested after police say she tried to stab another woman at Walmart at 13th Avenue in Fargo on Monday. Police say the 2 women were in line for customer service at the time. Police say they were able to get an idea of what the suspect looked like through surveillance video. And the next day, officers responded to a separate disturbance, recognizing the caller as Tanisha Doss. But Tanisha claims she didn't do it. She says she wasn't at the Walmart and she claimed that it was her twin sister instead. Police say no, it was Tanisha. She's now in the Cass County Jail on a charge of attempt to commit aggravated assault with a dangerous weapon. A man is now dead after a fire in North Morehead yesterday morning. Crews were called to a home on 56th Avenue North and 20th Street just after 10 a.m. in the Oakport neighborhood. They said they saw heavy smoke, but no flames, telling reporters on scene that they got the fire out quickly. However, an adult male was found deceased inside. 2 dogs were rescued from the home. The victim's name has not been released. A wildfire near Minnesota's Split Rock Lighthouse prompted the evacuation of the historic site. The fire was reported in the woods on Tuesday. Pictures posted, you see them here on your screen, on the Split Rock Facebook page show flames, smoke, and fire operations close to their trails, staircases, and the welcome signs indicating just how close the wildfire got. Lighthouse staff evacuated all guests, shutting down the historic site on Tuesday, but they say they were able to reopen on Wednesday. None of the historic buildings or structures were damaged. Happening today, a memorial service is planned for 24-year-old Anthony Economy, who was stabbed to death during a fight in Grand Forks last week. Anthony's obituary says he was kind-hearted and quick to flash a charming smile. They say his son Lincoln was the love and light of his life. A funeral service will be held at 2 p.m. today at Emmanuel Evangelical Church in Langdon. Visitation was held last night from 6 to 7 p.m. Time now for a check-in with our fast track forecast as we send things right on over to meteorologist Lisa Green. Good morning, Lisa.
Good morning. Today we are seeing some changes in our weather, that's for sure. This morning we had some fog in places like Fargo and Lakes Country. That has been improving. And then there are spots like Devil's Lake. If you look closely on the left-hand side of the screen, you can see the sky starting to lighten up. We've got clear skies in Devil's Lake and western parts of our viewing area, and we'll actually get a little sunshine today before the front arrives later on. Here's a look at our conditions right now. It's 36 degrees in Fargo. We're looking at 34 in Grand Forks. Some of us are below freezing. Thief River Falls Falls is at 30 degrees, so is Bemidji. And even in Devil's Lake, where we've been clear for a while, we're at 29 degrees. So some spots where, you know, if you have a little bit of moisture out there, that there might be a slick spot or two on the roads, maybe a little frost as well in those clear spots. But overall, we are pretty quiet right now. The precip that we were seeing this morning, that mist and drizzle, is moving on and will continue to be more on the quiet side for the moment as far as precipitation is concerned before things change later on. So out at the bus stop, not bad this morning for kids. This afternoon, they're going to want to hold on to their homework and papers they're bringing home because the wind is going to be quite strong. We're looking at some gusts picking up. Temperatures will still be mild, 40s in the north, 50s in the south, and again, windy for this afternoon. Speaking of that wind, let's take a look at what we can expect. So morning hours, not too bad this morning. There might be some places with some gusts into the 20s coming up in the next couple of hours, places like Devil's Lake. And then by noon, that's when we're starting to see gusts picking up around that 40-mile-per-hour range. And some of us this afternoon and evening could see a gust as high as 50. I think that's most likely in northeastern North Dakota with those strong winds as that front goes through tonight. And that'll bring about that chance for rain, especially in northwest Minnesota. And then in the wake of this, the chance for a few flakes Saturday and Sunday. We could have some snow showers pass by. Notice those temperatures dropping here. We're getting into the 40s on Saturday. That's for some of us. Some of us only top off in the 30s. And Sunday for St. Patrick's Day, more 20s to some 30s. Speaking of, if you're planning to head out to the parade tomorrow in Fargo, here's a look at what to expect. The parade starts at 11 o'clock. Around that time, we're talking about some cool conditions, still breezy. So our temperatures will probably be in the mid to upper 30s at that point, but it may feel even colder when we factor in that wind. And we know those buildings downtown can do a little wind tunnel effect. So be ready with some warmer gear, and don't be surprised if you see a flake fly by in addition to maybe some of that candy being tossed out.
Yeah, we're dealing with the struggles of weather, but it's still a nice time to celebrate.
Yeah, you know, we've had much colder, much tougher St. Patrick's Day parades out there. Yeah. And, you know, next week the temperatures kind of come back into some 40s coming up. So just a little cool this weekend. And if you're dressed for it, you should be just fine.
Wonderful. All right. Thank you, Lisa. SpaceX says they conducted a third test flight of its Starship rocket yesterday from Texas. However, during re-entry, engineers lost contact with it before its planned splashdown in the Indian Ocean. The spacecraft was sending back live images, you see them here, of its descent back to Earth before the loss of signal. It's showing the tremendous heat and pressure that the ship was encountering, officials confirming that they did lose the craft, but they still called it a phenomenal day, pointing at the data gained and the lessons learned moving forward with their program. Best Buy says they're recalling more than 280,000 air fryers in the U.S. and Canada over a possible fire hazard. According to the Consumer Product Safety Commission, the company has received 24 reports of Insignia air fryers and air fryer ovens overheating, melting, and shattering glass. This includes 6 reports of the appliance catching fire altogether. No injuries or property damage has been reported, though. Owners are warned to stop using the air fryers and to file a claim online to receive their refund. Amazon is holding its first ever big spring sale happening later this month. They say it's like Prime Day, but focused on seasonal items. This includes deals on spring fashion, fitness products, cleaning, yard work items, and Amazon devices like a Kindle and Echo. Some of the deals are up to half off. You don't have to be a Prime member, but if you are, you get exclusive deals. The 6-day sale starts next Wednesday. Amazon says they've already marked down some items. If you're feeling lucky this St. Patrick's Day weekend, there are 2 chances to win more than $500 million. Tonight's Mega Millions jackpot is now more than $790 million, with a cash option of $381 million. Tomorrow's Powerball jackpot is up to $600 million. That cash value is $293 million. Students at Willow Park Elementary School had a special day yesterday, meeting the West Fargo Police Department's Comfort K9 Bella. She was at the school with SRO Pearson to talk about law enforcement and the benefits of a Comfort K9. And it looks like Bella was loving all the attention and the belly rubs too. The West Fargo Police Department says they continue to work towards strengthening positive relationships with students through the K9 program. Well, the Today Show and CBS Mornings are just about to start, but the Valley Today rolls on. More live up-to-the-minute news and weather coming up right now on the Fargo CW. In the meantime, if you're heading out the door, stay safe, stay warm. Have a wonderful St. Patrick's Day weekend. We'll see you right back here Monday morning.